Hi. It's very easy to hear what I'm saying in this little message against the background of the massive losses in Europe to the far right in European elections. There's even a snap election being called in France as a result of that. I have been strongly encouraged by the Lord to maintain focus, to stay on message, and I don't want the reference to an interview by Nayib Bukele, where he was being interviewed by Tucker Carlson, to be a seen as a departure from a message. I am, however, going to read a passage from Judges 21 and verse 25 that states, "In those days there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes." And I do believe that there's some very important instruction for us. And I do believe that instruction is very, very much on message in terms of what does the society that we're in need to concentrate on at this point in time. In the Tucker Carlson interview of Naib, which I would recommend that you Google. If you Google the name Naib, Seeking God's Wisdom, he is the president of El Salvador, and there was a Tucker Carlson interview which I recommend. In that interview, he spoke about the need for maintenance, and what he was saying is that every society and societal system needs maintenance, and he was particularly talking about how democracies need for maintenance. So I was also listening to a presentation by a good friend of mine, Dr. Vidawati Ram, where she was talking about the need for us to maintain our personal habits so that we can fulfill our personal and collective visions. We need people that will be strong leaders, who are first and foremost strong in character, and who can inspire us to cultivate good habits. What are the habits, though, that we should cultivate? And what are the habits that we now have which we should change? What is the right thing for us to do? What is the right way for us to be? Where does our knowledge about right and wrong come from? Our universities were set up as societies of scholars, communities of scholars who are dedicated to learning about God and about His creation. They were therefore fundamentally committed to asking and answering questions and seeking answers. Our universities, the source of knowledge for the society, have themselves degraded to lecture halls, which, just basically spout dogmas, which they claim come from research, but are often uneasy and uncomfortable when research is critically examined, in terms of its funding, in terms of its underlying assumptions, etc. So, what we are often confronted with is kind of like, shut the questions down. We are universities. So the knowledge source itself has shifted and degraded to where it now lacks authority. But then knowledge and knowledge dissemination is further degraded by the systems of knowledge transfer and dissemination within the society. The various levels of official and unofficial media, all the way to the kitchen table discussions, are devoid of a method of accurately reproducing and representing the knowledge information in its original form. You've literally got Chinese whispers on steroids, in the way in which knowledge is disseminated in our society. Secondly, the official media are themselves dedicated to the degradation process because of short attention spans. So you have to sort of present things in sound bites and so on, and then there are financial incentives to sort of skew things in one way or another to achieve particular results from that information transfer. And then while the unofficial media, all right, so we're talking about social media and so on, when they're prone to special interest manipulation, often with a deliberate intention to sow misinformation. So what we need is a return to the Bible, the original source of knowledge in our universities, and having the scriptures themselves being discussed once again at the kitchen table, in the alleyways, the coffee houses, and in this way we can derive the kind of habits with which to repair and strengthen our individual and collective social character. Much of the pushback against the role of the Bible in creating and maintaining individual and social character is based on negative and toxic social attitudes which were supposedly based on the Bible in the past, and therefore led to a lack of confidence in the scriptures as a reliable source of knowledge about habits that build good character. So here, I believe we have to return to Naib comments about maintenance. Not only does societal habits, or not only do societal habits need maintenance, but Christian theology itself needs maintenance as well. Over time, the theology of the church has degraded from the teachings by and about Jesus Christ in the Old and New Testament to a collection of, progressive revelations and authoritative reinterpretations and application. I put authoritative in inverted commas, right? Reinterpretations and applications, as opposed to Jesus said it, I believe it, that settles it. Christian knowledge that is degraded in this way needs to be restored to its original form by simply reading and believing the Bible's original message. This exercise of discussing the Bible without theological or denominational filter should never be expected to reinstate toxic habits which were themselves the result of poor theological maintenance. I'm calling on the society to take a fresh look at the scriptures with the original mindset of the universities, willing to ask questions and ready to form habits around the answers provided.